good? Chaotic Nation, it's your boy Chaos here, your coach of your Detroit Red Wingles, and I know I finished up the season already, so you're like, why do you have a team built? Why are you here with a team builder? What are you doing? So as I said in the last episode, I think I might have said that in the team builder section, so you might have missed it. I said I'd do one more video going over the team builder, kind of my final thoughts on the season, and wrap it up here. So this is the other team that we could have brought last week in our matchup versus who do we fight last week? Versus the Famigo Friends. This is the other team. I honestly think the team we brought was the better option. So again, their team is Iron Bundle, Excadrill, Enamorus, Flygon, Ground Electric, Steel Terra, Skeledirge, Chinchino, Toxicroak with Poison, Dark, and Steel Terra, Moltres, Galarian Form, Klefki, and Cresselia. I pretty much predicted the team to kind of be Enamorus, Excadrill, Iron Bundle, Flygon, Chinchino, maybe something funky on the backside like Moltres or Cresselia. We ended up seeing, I think, pretty much all of that, minus... So we had Bundle, we had Excadrill, we had Enamorus, we had Flygon, we had Electric Terra Flygon, we had Toxicroak, we had Klefki, kind of as a counter for the team. So that was kind of the team. We did see him build very good for my team, so obviously that was good prep for his part. But this would be the team I would have brought. I think it could have done a little bit more work this week if it would have done nicely. So we have Electrode here. That would have been one of our options for a lead. I'm running Discharge, Leaf Storm, Volt Switch, and Thunder Wave. I have Aftermath again as the ability. I thought that was useful regardless of what set we brought, just to get a little bit of chip damage, and probably would have played in a similar fashion to the Flygon, although I would be faster than it with Choice Scarf, I believe, even if it's +1. So that would be nice. The idea with Terra Fairy is really just a defensive Terra if I decide I needed it. Not really anything else particularly with it. It's more of just defensive opportunity. We're 144 speed, which means I outspeed literally everything on his team, including Booster Energy, Iron Bundle. So that's why I would have brought it. Really a counter for Iron Bundle. Meant to take on Enamorus, Flygon, if I could paralyze it, which I couldn't. I also could have threatened it with Terra Ice, but it was obviously electric type, so it didn't really matter too much. Maybe took on Chinchino, maybe took on Moltres. It would have done a lot for his more offensive team, which would have been nice in the back. So really good late game cleaner. Could have done that job on the team, but we didn't bring it. We used it as a defensive one instead, so that was kind of cool. Cleavor would have been another bring this week with Stone Axe, Close Combat, Tailwind, and X-Scissor. I'm running Focus Sash instead of the typical Choice Scarf. I feel like he would have expected the Choice Scarf. He definitely did expect Cleavor to come this week. Had some counters for it. That Flygon really in particular was a way to deal with my Choice Scarf set. So I have Focus Sash here, Tailwind. I knew that speed was going to be a important part of this battle, which definitely, if you watched the video last week, you saw that I lost a lot of things because I was slower. My team was entirely slower than his team. He brought a lot of speed, and that's why Tailwind would have been helpful for a team like this, because we are running some speedy mons. Tailwind just ensures that we do be faster than everything, so that's really nice. And it's a little bit different than what I would have ran normally. A lot of people are expecting me to run Choice Scarf, you know, that's fair. I don't even have a U-turn on this set because Tailwind's much better this week just to get set up. But really Cleavor's option this week was come in, click rocks, get rocks up, Tailwind, maybe get a revenge kill. That's really about it. I'm not really meant to do a lot, but Tailwind would have been really helpful, especially if I live a hit on something that's faster. We get Tailwind up, we get rocks up the next turn, and then we are dead the turn. On that turn, we get something else in that's faster that works. We have a little bit different of a Grimmsnarl set that I would have brought. This is not the pivoting set, it's Screens, which I think would have been really helpful for this team. I'm unsure if his Toxicroak had Brick Break or not. I don't think it did. I think it was Close Combat. So this would have been really good for his team. Set up Screen, definitely on the Flygon, a way to shut that down. And I have Spirit Break, which if you don't know what Spirit Break does, lowers special attack. So maybe could have shut down a special attack on Flygon that we didn't see. Good for like Enamorus and those kinds of things. Good for some other stuff. I meant to say that Cleavor beat Iron Bundle with Tailwind. It outspeeded Excadrill. If it outspeeded Excadrill at 1, beat Enamorus with Tailwind. Flygon with Tailwind potentially. We know now that it wouldn't. have one, because that was only if it was Terra Steel. I think it was a roll if it was Terra Electric, so and also I think that required rocks to be up anyway, so it would not have KO'd. But good for like things like Chinchino, Moltres, and Cresselia in the back too. Grim really just meant to set up screens and get out. Can took on Flygon as long as it wasn't Terra Steel. We did see Grimmsnarl take on Flygon this week, so that still worked out. But really, it's just here to set up screens. He's got a lot of things that can set up. He brought a lot of setup this week. I think this could have been useful. I do have Thunder Wave as well, which is why it was Terra Electric Flygon, not Terra Steel, because Terra Steel got neutered by the Thunder Wave, so that was good prep on his part. The Amulet, honestly, his Flygon was completely built to counter my Grimmsnarl, and the fact that I still had something to deal with it was really useful. He did not prep for a light clay set. I only brought screens really week 1, so I understand not seeing screens come up again, but because of the set we ran, it was a little bit different than what you normally would have saw on a Grimmsnarl, but I think the screens would have been really nice this week. Max HP, max special defense, a little bit tanky. I think we ran the same exact set with the other one when it comes to EVs. Chandelure was a big part of this team. Definitely was the sweeper this week. I was running Charcoal to do more damage on Flamethrower. I didn't want to have to lock into Fire Blast and occasionally miss, although I haven't missed Fire Blast all season. I have Infiltrator in case he wants to set up Substitute or screens. So that was kind of the point. I definitely saw some opportunities for some setup on his team. I definitely saw potentially some screens with a Klefki. So we wanted to make sure that was taken care of. And Infiltrator was the real option there. He didn't really have a fire type besides, like, he had Skeledirge, and we beat that with Ghost Stab, so we didn't need to run Flash Fire or anything to really counter that. We kind of just we wouldn't want to switch into it, but if we were in and it came in, we could just kill it with a Ghost type move. It didn't really matter. I was also running Calm Mind to kind of get some boost at +1/+1. So that's +1 special defense, +1 special attack, special defense, and speed. We pretty much ran this entire team with my EVs at max special attack, max speed, and timid. +1 speed, I outspeed Iron Bundle and one-shot it. Extra Drill, as long as I outspeed it, I one-shot it. Doesn't matter if I'm set up at all. Namorous, if I'm +1 special attack and I outspeed, I one-shot it. Flygon would have been a really good counter for Flygon this week, barring that I got, especially because it wasn't the Scarf set that I kind of anticipated. It was a different kind of set. So that didn't really matter too much. But it still could have taken on the Flygon a little bit better. I think would have been okay, and done some work, I think, so that would have been fun. Registeel was running Assault Vest this week instead of the meme set that I brought, although the meme set kind of did some work, so I'm not too upset about it. Clear Body obviously is my only ability. I'm running max HP, max defense, because we want to hit things with body press really hard. I really am just running a bunch of coverage moves here, so Registeel is meant to take hits and kind of do some chips, not really do a lot of damage, but chip down the opponent's team that way. Something like Chandelure, something like Electrode can deal with it in the back. Body Press, really good with the max HP, max defense, going to do a lot of damage. Shadow Claw, really there for Skeledirge, in case I needed it. Also kind of dealt with something, I was trying to figure out what else it dealt with. But maybe good for Flygon for some crits. I don't know what it was going to try to do. If something tried to set up defensively, crits were there. Heavy Slam was great against Enamorous. Some other things too did some work. And Rock Tomb as a speed control kind of thing. There's nothing that really stopped me from speed control. As I said, that was really important this week for the team. Having the speed definitely make sure we win. So I wanted to do Rock Tomb to go get the speed drops on something. Maybe switch into something faster. Maybe force something to switch out. Save later. Just Registeel did some good work this week. Assault Vest allows me to eat special attacks really well too. So I'm basically maxed attack. I'm basically max HP, max defense, and max special defense because of that Assault Vest, which is really cool. And last but not least was Hisuian and Samurott. Again, this was kind of a weird bring. It was similar to the bring for Deoxys Defense the week before. It was really meant to just deal with Cress. And get up some spikes. So I have Ceaseless Edge, Aqua Cutter, Aqua Jet, and Brick Break. Brick Break's a nice utility move to kind of shut down the the tandem mouse, not the tandem mouse, it's not the tandem mouse, it's the Chinchito. It can have tidy up, so if it wants to tidy up, I can hit through it. If it wants to have screens, because we saw Klefki, definitely can break right through the screens. That's fine that way too. But really, kind of just meant to be a little bit of an annoyance, maybe a revenge killer with Aqua Jet. Obviously can do a lot of damage with any of its stabs, but I am running max attack, not max speed. In Tailwind, we actually outspeed some things, but 85 is a terrible speed tier, as we figured out this season many times why Cleavors run Choice Scarf so much, because 85 is just horrendous when it comes to speed. You are not fast, you are not slow, you do not fit anywhere, you're just kind of middle of the ground. So yeah, I ran a little bit of speed investment to outspeed some of the slower things. I think this makes me outspeed max speed Skeledirge, if I remember correctly. And that weak one shot obviously was we can do some damage. We don't one shot with Ceaseless Edge, but we obviously do some damage. Max attack Adamant I felt was really useful, and then special defense, you know, we're gonna see probably like we can see some Moonblast, we can see some stuff like that come out. We want to be able to take it. Obviously this was a good switch into Iron Bundle, so we want to be able to take Freeze Dries a little bit better too. That's why Assault Vest is there. So we're pretty specially defensive. We can take a few hits. We're really not wanting to fight Iron Bundle because it does have Freeze Dry. Definitely had it on its set this week. We didn't see it, but it definitely had it. Excadrill, Namorous, Flygon, potential wins. Not bad against Chinchino. Definitely beats Moltres, Skeledirge, and Cresselia. So kind of, again, really a last-minute team member to try to deal with the Cresselia. I didn't have a good way of dealing with it. He brought a hyper-offensive team. I prepped for that a little bit more, maybe. I wouldn't have brought Samurai. I would have brought something else, but I felt like this was a good option for the team. And a good potential for the team moving forward. So that was what I would have brought last week if I actually brought a real team and not just kind of memes. The meme team I think did better than this team would have done. So I'm not upset with that bring at all. As I said in the last week's video, it was meme and let something crazy happen, particularly let Munchlax get 6 kills and watch the other coach cry as Munchlax ruins the season. That was kind of the plan. Didn't work out, obviously. We talked a little bit after the fact. If I didn't Terra Ghost, I would have been clear. I would have been in the clear. So I shouldn't have Terra Ghost that early. I was too worried about the close combat, which could have just straight up killed me. He anticipated a switch, so good plays on his part again. I just shouldn't have done that, and maybe should have switched out, but he anticipated that and definitely played it really well. The curse was big. That was the only way to really beat the Toxicroak at that point in time, so it worked out. That curse actually got some kills, but I needed not to Terra there. I needed to Terra the next turn when he clicked Knockoff wouldn't have done anything either, but yeah, it wouldn't have. Well, Knockoff would have done a lot, but he probably would have closed combat instead of Knockoff that turn, and then we would have got a free turn, which would have been really nice. But that's what that is. Yeah, really was expecting Moltres because it kind of did a lot of work against my team. We obviously didn't see that. Chinchino I expected to see mostly because of the hazards. My team is very hazard stacky, which turns out to be a terrible thing. It does not work in Draft League, so yeah, that's kind of what I was anticipating. So let's talk about the team a little bit here. Overall, you know, we kind of put together a pretty interesting team. And I'm going to just switch over to my phase game because you don't need to see the layout and stuff right now. That's not really that important. But I'm going to just look. I need to pull up the stuff over here. So the team obviously went through changes. Like I started out with Roaring Moon, which we found out didn't work. Way too overpriced for its worth. It doesn't really get much done by itself. It needs a lot of setup and utility. If I was running a Sun team, as I said a couple weeks, like if I was running a Sun team and this thing was Choice Scarf or something, like no problem, gets a lot of KOs, but it did not work for me. I needed to get out of it. It was a hyper offense mon in a league that was pretty defensive. Most of the coaches were good at pivoting and that kind of stuff, so I couldn't really get away with just a setup sweeper. Kind of hard to get away with a setup sweeper in this league, so mazel tov to the people who did. Landorus definitely was a better switch. I feel like we would have got a lot more work done if I had run Landorus instead. Would have definitely helped out against the battles like the week we fight the Milotic. And whose team was, I'm trying to remember whose team that was. It would have helped out that week. trying to think. I really want to know what this team. That was Mate's team. That would have been really good, especially for like Heatran, Weezing options. I think I did have it that week, and I ended up botching the play by clicking Party Shot, but it's fine. So that was something, but I think it had a better matchup overall this season. That's why I did the switch. Roaring Moon, that was the third dark type on the team, so it didn't really do much to me. Samurott, great Pokemon, terrible pick. I'm like, you're like, terrible pick. It did a lot of work for you. Samurott's good. Samurott is a good Pokemon, but it is, as I said, 85 base speed is abysmal in this league. You need base 100 or you're not doing anything. So the fact that it's slow for an offensive Pokemon doesn't really do it any favors. It didn't really help me out too much. Enamorus, opposite kind of thing, really defensive, but when it can't get a hit off, it doesn't do anything. It really needs a lot more recovery, and it didn't have that, so not a great option there. Really need offensive Fairy if you're going to run it. It's really good defensive type. It's really good for a Terra type. It's not good for anything else. I just feel like Fairy is not a good typing in this league anymore. In draft. Well, in any kind of Pokemon game anymore. It's because of all the nerfs and stuff that we've seen. So, power creep is really bad. Cleavor seems like it would do good. It did not. It did get a few kills. So, you know, most people were scared of Cleavor. It was a terrifying thing. Maybe should be worth a little bit more. But if you're really locked into Choice Scarf or Focus Sash, you can't really do anything else. And again, it's one of those Pokemon that need some sort of setup to get it to work. And that's not great. So, cool. And honestly, MVP, Unsung MVP, Chandelure, amazing Pokemon on this team. Did a lot of work to bring this team into some really cool fights. Some pretty massive plays with the Chandelure. Honestly, was going to pick Saroledge here. Pick Chandelure instead. I can't say I would have been in a way worse spot. I'd probably be like 0-8 if I picked Saroledge over Chandelure. Chandelure is just so good. Especially at a 9. I wish I gave it Terra. That would have made it so good too. Like Terra Fairy on this thing would have been ridiculous. But instead I really wanted Terra Electrode, and that was what happened there. I should have thought about that a little bit more. Maybe if I did a switch later on, I would have done that. But it's kind of hard to switch your Terra captains around without just getting rid of your Terra captain. So, a little bit difficult in that regard. Registeel, great switch over from Lucario. I needed more defensive on my Steel type. Registeel came a lot of weeks, did a lot of good work, took a lot of hits. Honestly, was the reason we won the Iron Boulder fight against Hammy. We never got to see him fight that battle, but he was ready and he could do a lot of work. Registeel actually great defensive wall, did a lot of work that I wanted it to do. Played my defensive Steel type to a T, and I'm really happy that we picked it up. Really glad it worked out. Definitely better than Lucario, and I hate to say that because Lucario is a pretty good Pokemon, but it was definitely better than Lucario this time around. Donphan, I have nothing but disappointment for Donphan. He says, realizing as he says that the Donphan actually was pretty good this season. Donphan actually did some work, really nice in some of those battles, especially with like using Sturdy as a utility to stay alive. It was a good rapid spinner. It did its job. It was defensive enough to eat some hits. So, you know, I think whenever I brought it in for rapid spinning purposes, it got the spin off. So it did its job, honestly. I really wanted Great Tusk or Iron Treads. I settled for Donphan, and honestly, it's a little high rated tiers. I feel like it should be like a 10 or a 9 and not an 11 point thing. It's really high. But yeah, Electrode, only thing it did really well was the Manaphy week. That was an insane play. I have never been I don't think I've ever been happier with a run like that. Like, it was such a niche pick, it was such a niche item, it was such a niche run. I'm like, I had to do it because I know I to beat the Manaphy, and Electrode did its job that week and got me a dub. So without the Electrode, I would have lost that week. But there really is an issue with Electrode, and that's just it's like anything under base 100 is useless in this meta, unless you're running low speed or low attack to try to get away on like foul play and stuff like that. If you're under base 100, it's not doing anything. This power creep is ridiculous, and I figured that out really too late in the season to do a lot about it. Electrode's speed is great pivoter, but it doesn't do damage, and I needed it to do damage. The amount of times that I was like, how do I beat this water type? How do I beat this flying type? And, you know, I have an electric and grass type right here that's supposed to do that job, and it just couldn't KO anything. Like, we couldn't beat Manaphy unless Manaphy set up on us. That's how sad this Pokemon is. Really cool Pokemon. Love its speed tier. Had a great time with its speed tier. Definitely want to have fun with the Choice Scarf set that we showed earlier, but it's just not fast enough. Terra Ice, amazing. Terra Ice, amazing. Put in a lot of work this week. I think it was pretty predictable by the end of the week, which is why I brought, kind of the reason why I brought Terra Fairy. But also in case, what's it called? The Flygon wasn't actually... I mean, even Terra Ice would have been nice, but Terra Fairy really, in case like I needed it, had to be like defensive, so that would have been nice. But looking at this team, well, it didn't really matter. Didn't really matter when I clicked. We were kind of screwed. Hitmonchan, another great trade. I feel like the Registeel Hitmonchan was a great trade for Lucario. I got a lot of bang out of my buck there. I know Porygon was in it too, but it's really, Porygon did come in all this season, so really good for Trick Room, really bad in singles, so unless you're gonna run Toxic, which you can't. Yeah, Porygon got really nerfed. A lot of things got nerfed with no Toxic, so that's just really bad. But Hitmonchan, you know, I wanted another way to get rid of hazards. I thought Donphan wasn't doing its job, so Hitmonchan did the work. I wish I had a little bit more of an offensive fighting type this season than Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan, obviously not bad, but it doesn't do any offensive damage that I really need it to do. I need something that's going to take a hit and also deal a lot back. That didn't happen with Hitmonchan this season. It still did its job pretty well, and I'm not upset about it. I've never been upset with a Hitmonchan that I've run. It's always been a pretty solid Pokemon regardless of what we do. So, honestly, felt pretty good for what it was valued at. Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl, I love running Grimmsnarl. It's a really good Pokemon. I say it's the premier prankster Pokemon just because it gets rid of... You can't prankster it because of its dark typing. Really solid in that regard. I think I could have run it a little bit more this season, got a more use out of it. Definitely the screens should have come a little bit more. Kind of was pretty predictable with light screen, with Thunder Wave Parting Shot, as we saw in the last week. He was ready for Parting Shot and Light and Thunder Wave. If I ran the screens, it would have been a little bit different. But, you know, I would have loved to see offensive Grimmsnarl show up a little bit. It just never gets the chance to do that, I feel like. So maybe it's a little high valued, but it's a prankster Pokemon. I don't feel terrible about it. I don't feel terrible about it. They did what I needed to. Drifblim. Ugh. This is such a hit or miss Pokemon. I was so happy with it when we started with it. I know I traded for it before the season started, but like it was so hit or miss. Like I think the week 7, Terra Ground, and actually did some work, which was really nice. Like it had the potential to sweep that week, and really needed it too, because that would have been sick. But Terra Ground, you know, that 1 week was the one time it worked. Every other set, the Unburdened weakness policy did not do what I needed it to do. We just didn't get it working. It didn't have a good defensive set. Strength Saps rather, not a great option as I thought it was to help us out with the team. So honestly, not my favorite pick in the world. Was a really good option in case I didn't want to bring Chandelure, but at the end of the season, I really figured out that Chandelure is really good and probably should be like a 10 just so it can't Terra. But so that's why Drifblim didn't come that often. There was the week 7 where I brought both because, you know, extra ground type was really cool, and yeah, that was what I needed. So it worked out for me there. Glad it did what it needed to do. Sometimes I wish it was more consistent. That's all I can say about it. I mean, it is a lower tier Pokemon, so you don't really expect it to do a lot, but it would be really nice if it could have grabbed a lot more kills what I needed it to. But that's that. And Munchlax, last thing on the list. Honestly, bang for my buck at tier 2. Nice defensive Pokemon, despite the fact it's free Evo. Eviolite was so huge on it this week. The Terras were really nice. I wish I got to use it more as a Terra captain. I thought that kind of had to take the back fiddle to Electrode. So that was that, but it didn't really need it. Normal was really good. I'd really love to run it. I wish it had more utility as in recovery, because the only option was rest, or I think maybe it got Drain Punch. and I had to, hit really hard with Drain Punch and Munchlax's 80 base attack, which, remember what I said a little bit ago, if it's not 100, it's not worth it. So I wish it did a little bit more damage, but it's Munchlax, so I can't really say much about it. It did the defensive stuff that I needed to. I wish you got it sweep last week, which would have been so cool. It was like 6-0 Munchlax, would have been hilarious. And really, I was banking on RNG and Metronome to go well, so it was a lot of work. But I think it's a good Pokemon. I think it's great. Like, lower tier Mon, honestly, really, really solid. Tier 2, perfect pricing for it. Very useful. As a lower tier Mon, very useful. Hard to find those Mons, I think, sometimes, but lower tier Mon, tier 2 Munchlax, useful. Would run again. But yeah, I think I've covered most of my thoughts and my opinions on the team this season. We had a run, definitely not a great run. Really need some water. My throat's dry. We finished 2-8. At this point, the matches are not done because I'm recording this before I leave. But we're bottom team, one of the two. And that's a team that we fought week 1 that we should have really won against. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, we're just looking at the matches. I'm gonna go through those real quick one more time. Luckily, there's a replay sheet that tells me all this stuff. Week 1, we should have had the dub. 4 out of 5 flinches. 4 out of 5 times getting flinched was really annoying. Roaring Moon should have 3 kills. That was the one week I felt really good about Roaring Moon, and then it just went downhill from there. Week 2, honestly played that perfectly. Definitely got the dub that I deserved. We did our best, and we took out a really good team because they're probably playoff contention. Week 4, that was, where am I at? Week 1, week 2, week 3, against the Torrent. Why did we get stuck? We got stuck on the defensive utility. That Ogerpon was a problem. Should have played a little bit, I think. Probably should have brought more aggressive stuff. Needed to figure out the Thunderous. That was the real issue for me. Needed to run something Scarf, like wasn't Cleavor. Needed to not lose Cleavor. The amount of times that I needed to say not lose Cleavor is a lot. Probably would have changed that up with like Chandelure. I feel like did a lot better in that fight than Drifblim did. I know we didn't have the Terra advantage there, but I think that did a lot better in regards. Comfey is just a broken Pokemon. Definitely needs to be 10 points next season, because if it gets Terra, that's ridiculous. Especially Triage Terra with like Terra Grass Giga, that would be annoying. Oh, that's such a broken strat. I hate that. I hate that so much. But yeah, Triage is stupid. But that was a good team. Honestly, we played that pretty solid from... I mean, we still took a 3-0, but we still played that pretty good, I think. I could have done a few things better. Obviously, that's every battle, but I'm not terribly upset about that match. Well done by my opponent, so I'm not upset with that loss. Definitely, we deserved to lose. Opponent just played better. So that was that. Week 4. Where's my match? There we are. We're fighting Goodnight Cresselia. That was stupid. We should have had that. I was so worried about that wheezing that I over-prepped it, and that was the problem. Really needed to bring Electrode to try to deal with that Milotic and to deal with Valiant. Honestly, would have been really good that week. I know Thunderous is there. It kind of stops it, but it could have been really good that week. We played really good around that Basculin. Didn't really know how to do it, but we played around it well enough. I needed probably to run... Changes I probably would have brought that week would have been running Samurott and running Samurott instead of an Amorous, and what was the other thing? Maybe running Screens on Grimmsnarl. That would have been really helpful. Kind of utility there. No pivoting, definitely. Yeah, Screens Grimmsnarl would have done so much better in that fight, but that was really the biggest mess up. Was clicking knowing that the Milotic was competitive and still clicking Parting Shot like an idiot. Week 5, great match. Honestly, we played that to a T. Should have prevented hazards a little bit better on the Vikavolt, which, Chandelure did a lot of work that week. I know it only got 1 kill, but it did a lot of work that week to get us in range to do some nice stuff, to let Lando take the clean on the Iron Boulder. Obviously, Registeel never got a shot at that battle, but it did a lot of work, and we kind of let it set up to the point where it would win. The only thing was getting rid of Manaphy. We got rid of Manaphy, and then at that point, yeah, we kind of just went with Render Steel. So I think we played that well. I'm glad that Mirror worked, and that's all I really can say about that. Week 6. Oh, geez. What happened in week 6? I lost somewhere. I lost 3-0. Didn't play the sets correctly. Should have looked more into... I really was facing that league matchup because I was like, everyone wants to get rocks on my field because it's really bad. Should have played a little bit better around that Glamora and let it get 3 kills. I just did not have a counter to it once Samurott went down, so I should have thought about that a little bit more. Swampert, we played around pretty well. Rabombi. I said Rabombi was the issue. Yeah, Rabombi is an issue. That speed tier is just good. Good special attack too. Nice threatening Pokemon. Honestly, just did well against my team. We should have played that a lot better. Definitely needed to play around that Braviary a little bit more too. Because holy crap, I just let it kill Cleaver and Lando, and that was stupid. Did not read the choice band. Did not expect it, and that's what happens when you don't expect things. You lose. Week 7. That one turn. It came down to one turn, and I sold. I sold big time. I definitely should have just clicked the move to deal with the Cryogonal instead of letting it get 3 kills. I definitely should just click against it, the move against it. Called it a day. Honestly, great battle though. It just was that one turn, and I needed to play it right. Can't be upset about that loss. That's one of the losses I'm not upset about. The Milotic team, yeah, that was stupid. Should have won that one. Should have been smarter about it, but I didn't play it well. The other team that I lost 3-0 to, the Glamora, yeah. Those are 2 weeks that I did bad. I definitely deserved to lose, but I should have done better. I cannot be mad at losing week 7, but I could have won that one. And then week 8. Week 8. What was week 8? Oh, geez. Yeah, week 8, I didn't even try. I didn't really even try. I'm so happy with how that team worked out, though. It was really fun. Definitely think this team that I brought would have been better than I initially anticipated, knowing what the team is now. He brought a lot of offense and probably has screens on Klefki, so we did right. We did the team right. I think we built it pretty well. Preparing for his things, we definitely got the team pretty correct, minus like 1 or 2 things that came instead, but not things we couldn't have dealt with the team, but we just didn't bring an offensive team to fight it. So out of the matches, I think really only one of those was a legit thing that we should have lost. That was week 7. The other matches I think we could have won, and if we definitely should have won, I just, I lost in Team Builder, I lost in lead matchups, man. That's what I say. You have to get through the process. You have to win in Team Builder. You have to win in lead matchup. You have to win on the differential. If you notice throughout the season, the matches that I start with a loss, I lose. So like if I'm down a mon, I lose. And that's just how Draft League's been for me. If I start on the back foot, I don't really get back out of it too well. There's times that I can claw back, but I usually don't come out. So I need to work better on that. I need to work better on not getting into those situations in the first place. But 2 and I feel really bad at 2 and 6. Really should be like, really should have a good shot at playoffs right now and be like 5-3 or 4-4. But I'm not, because that's how Pokemon is. But we do our best next week. Whenever that next week is, we do better next time. I've already started to begin to plan some things for my draft, so I'm looking forward to seeing if this league, I think it's going to be a pretty fast rotation, so maybe like a month or 2 down the road, we'll probably see me come back with another, hey, RGBL season 14, here's my team stuff. So look forward to that. Big thank you to my newest addition to the Detroit Red Wings, which is the front office. Big thanks to my friends Brief Star, Yamish Fortuga, Gaming DC helped a little bit. I would say Tui, but he didn't really do much. He's just kind of like, yeah, this is good, just approving stuff that already was approved. So thank you guys for supporting that. I know there's a few other people in there, but Brief is the real MVP of that team. He helped me every single week with the team, barring 2 weeks where, one, we didn't have the time to match up, and two, it was the last week of the season. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it because I can't make playoffs. I could, but I can't. So big shout out to him. Thank you guys for putting in the work with Draft League. Hearing my thought process. I know I have a lot of crazy thoughts, so I'm just glad to see you guys help me out with that. So if you guys also, if you're interested in joining the front office, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I will get you a link to the Discord server. You can join it. Obviously, I have to keep that private because I can't let just anybody join, because it has to be people who aren't gonna, who aren't my opponents. Let's put it that way. So please feel free to let me know if you're interested. I really could use mocks and those kinds of things throughout the season. It's really helpful. Definitely made some better plays because of it, like Protect. It's one of Brief's favorite moves, and you know, I actually played really good against that Protect on the Reggie Rock because of it. So you know, it's helpful, you know, and it lets me see what my team does. So I appreciate those helps. I appreciate you guys watching through this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the team. I know we did not great this season. I don't feel like we did terrible. I'm not gonna say terrible. I know we did not great. We did okay. We did okay. Like, this is a tough league. This is a really tough league full of really great battlers, and I don't think there was a match that didn't have a potential this season to be a really good match. Like, we had some really good matches at the beginning of the season. I think I kind of lost momentum in the first couple weeks, having like 3 losses on video, even though I won one of those battles. But like the turnaround, winning against the #1 rated team in the league at that point in time, and I think still now too, being the only win against them, actually. I think if I remember correctly, I think I'm the only win still. I might not be. No, they have 2 losses now. So one of the only 2 wins. I'll take it. But yeah, we just need to be more consistent. I think next season I'd like to hit 50%. I'd like to really, we have goals. Draft a good team. That's what I'm looking for. Draft a good team, prep a good team, win lead matchup, be prepared for dumb stuff. That's what I'm looking for right too. But that's not the end for the Detroit Red Wings. I'm sure there'll be another season coming up. Don't know when that's going to be, so stay tuned for that. I look forward to seeing you guys in some of the other content. So I do some Nuzlocks here on the channel. If you haven't seen those, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're right now doing an Emerald chest lock, so please check that out. I will have Saturday videos coming back. This is what replaced those for a little while. So I will be doing some Saturday videos where I'll be talking about theories, or I'll be doing rankings. I might be doing a gym of a certain type in a different gym slot. So those will be coming back. A lot of things will be coming up, so please look forward to those. And of course, shiny reactions, shorts, those kinds of things will be there. You also follow my links in the description. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Discord, YouTube here, and I have another YouTube channel, Visible Corporation, where I do non-Pokemon content if you're interested in that kind of stuff too. Make sure you join the channel too. That's a great way to support us. You get videos live, especially Draft League videos. This entire season, every single Draft League video was available to our members as soon as it went uploaded, which sometimes would have been the beginning of the week, sometimes would have been later in the week, but you definitely got the video early, so please feel free to do that. If you want to support the channel, just join down below. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like on this video, and let me know your favorite moment for this season in the comment section down below. But that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Until next time, my name is Chaos. I'm signing off. Stay safe, and as always, burned up.